Welcome everyone to our February Come Talk with GSA. This is a fully virtual meeting since the February meetings needed to be virtual for this semester, but next month we're going right back to our hybrid option for Come Talk with GSA, so you can join us virtually or in person, and that link is always the same. So the same Zoom link you're using today is the same for all of the months. So we'll just pause for a second to let everybody record their attendance. You can do that by scanning the QR code on the screen, or you can type in the Go UNCG EDU attendance link. As soon as you see that blue banner on the bottom of your screen, your attendance has been recorded. Okay. And with that, we are really excited to have two presentations today. These are pretty different than the other presentations we've had in the past. So I'm really excited to hear from both Mona and Destiny, and I'm going to let Nagla introduce them.
Thank you so much, Lexi. I am in the building. I just finished my class and I didn't have time to go to the office and join you guys. So I am happy I have an empty class. It's so good seeing you, Mona, Christelle, and Destiny, and my team, Alex and Claire. I missed you so much, and definitely missed the Lexi La Bonita. It is such a pleasure, really, Mona, to hear about what you do regarding the Yoga Connection. I was very fortunate to see you in a conference where you already made us stand up and do yoga. And you know, your commitment to provide the yoga classes for immigrants and refugees is really appreciated. And I remember that I talked with you 2 years ago in that conference. You explained to me your passion about what you do. At that time, you were not enrolled in UNCG.
Correct.
So you had your own studio and your own business, and you said, Nagla, put an announcement everywhere. So your advocacy to have this kind of intervention offered to immigrants and refugees is amazing. And I personally relate to you because when you told me about your cultural background and the Syrian cultural background that you carry in your life story, and I told you, Mona, I have been to Syria, best people, best food ever. Lebanese and Syrian food, you guys are killers. You guys are killers. But definitely, Mona, talking with you sometimes in Arabic and knowing that you are a PhD student in kinesiology at UNCG is such an honor. You made me, as an Arabic woman, very proud of the Arabic beauty, of the Arabic strength, of the advocacy, of your great personality. I am so looking forward to hearing, you know, the amazing things that you do. So the floor is yours.
Najla, that was just lovely. It warmed my heart and it was very moving. And I so appreciate you. I remember being very moved by your story and your grounding strength and your strength to rise is a testimony to your leadership in general, in all ways. So thank you. All right. So do I share my screen here? How do I share my screen?
Yes. So I made you a co-host. So at the bottom, you should have a green arrow that says share screen, and then just choose whatever window your PowerPoint's on.
Okay. So perfect. I see it. All right. All right. Is that evident for everyone?
Yes, we can see it and it's full screen now. Perfect. Go ahead.
All right. So as Najla told us, the Yoga Connection had a different name. It began in 2019 after some planning that took a couple of years, but like I did before, I'm inviting you to stand up and do Warrior One while these ladies, we see them in their picture doing that. And so to do that, you stand up and so I'll go through this, but you'll get to do a few yoga poses if you'll stand up and you'll place one foot forward and one leg back, and take your arms high, your front knee is bent and your rib cage is lifted and your heart is open, we can all stand to have this stretch. I want you to stay there and decide that if your arms get tired, you'll take them behind you and you'll keep lifting your heart, because Warrior One is a pose that gives you a sense of readiness. All right. And so after you're there for about 30 seconds, I want you, you're on your honor, to change and to take the other leg forward. The front knee is bent, Lexi is there, and the back leg is straight, and good job, everybody. And here comes Claire doing her Warrior One. And warrior poses, again, give you that sense of being ready. So this community organization is all about practicing yoga, empowering women, building community, and it is for immigrant and refugee women. If you see any poses on the screen that just inspire you, like this tree pose, we are doing it here as a group. And anything that we do as a partner pose, right now during COVID, we don't have a chance to do partner practice, but it is a reminder that anything and everything we do together is much better than doing it apart. So whether it is practicing yoga or how we build community in any way, people come and they don't feel like they know very many people and their circle grows. So we are reminded that in this great country, we are all immigrants unless we are Native Americans. Yeah. This is the current flyer for this program. It is run every year twice for 8 weeks, once in the spring, once in the fall. You can see from the Tuesdays at 12:45 to 1:45 and the date, February 1st to March 22nd, that we're right in the middle. We just finished week number 3. Luckily, from the very beginning, we collaborated with a lot of nonprofits that serve refugees in this community. And Peace Church, which hosts the New Arrivals Institute, they give us their space. So we don't, until this year, we don't have to pay rent, but we are now a new nonprofit. And so that is our new website. You can go there and you're going to read about us, and you can find the participant page. We only have 3 pages, but on that participant page, you will have an opportunity to register if you either are a participant or a volunteer. In yoga, we call this a seva, and the word seva means service. And it is a reminder that our life is about service. In community engaged scholarship, we are here at UNCG. We understand that the life of the college is linked to the community through community engaged scholarship. And so another reason that I'm bringing this up is that this program is going to become the focus of my dissertation. And the reason that we are taking it in that direction is that there is not a lot studied on the health and wellness of immigrant women. They tend to fall through the cracks as far as attention to programming that is created directly targeted for them. So we're going to use surveys and focus groups to understand what are their barriers and what are the facilitators to their taking time for wellness, what's going to promote fitness, wellness, and I'm a kinesiology student. So we encourage people to, we want to spread the word, participants inside and outside the school, through the graduate school, through the undergraduate school, through any group that you may know where you might run across women who are foreign students who come from another country, who are part of the staff. Everyone is welcome, and there is no charge. For the women who show up in person, there is free childcare even. And for those who want to volunteer, that is our sign up site. So Sign Up Genius is a platform that has a free version that we use that lets you create volunteer program, like here's my volunteer program. I need to create the sign up for it so people can sign up with transparency. And you can look up the sign up by the name of the person who created it. So right now, if you wanted to sign up, you would go to signupgenius.com and put in Mona Flynn, and you'll see spaces of where do we need some volunteers. And this class is hybrid. So last year, it was only by Zoom. The few years before, it was in person. Our website will also give you a QR code, just like our flyer. And we make it very simple because a lot of the women who do come have language barriers. So we want to make it just easy. Everyone seems to have a phone. They can point their phone at this and do what you all know to do. It takes you directly to what you need. If you're showing up in person, this is our classroom. It is the Fellowship Hall of Peace Church, which is right down the street from UNCG. And what's pretty cool is that we have attracted a few UNCG students, and one of them ended up getting a job because of attending with us. She now is the volunteer for our social media, but she works in digital marketing, and it all started by attending as a participant at the Yoga Connection. We've received a lot of attention. We've received a national award through a professional organization, and then some different organizations. The Give Back Yoga Foundation sent us a few boxes of yoga mats. This is one of them. And so we came up with that if you attend 4 out of 8 classes at least, you will receive a yoga mat. That's pretty cool. And so sometimes when we miss our folks, we'll go and check on them and see how they're doing. And this young lady did not have a chance to pick up her mat on the last day. She had to go and pick up her child. So I delivered her mat, and it was just a joy to see her. We have participants from all over the world and in many different, how do we say, capacities of fitness. We were featured last year in the Yoga Journal. We were featured in the Yoga Therapy Today, which is the professional journal of the International Association of Yoga Therapists. And our picture, if you see, that was the very first picture I showed you. We made the cover of the journal, which is pretty cool. That was the article. It was about 6 pages. And this happened to be this lady that is in the picture. She is actually from Syria. And when the Syrian crisis happened, through some of the organizations in town, hers was the first family that came refugee status through the United Nations. And so we become very connected and committed to the people that we meet. We create a network, and it is social as much as it is fitness oriented. And we have fun together. So here's another set of participants doing a partner pose. Partner poses, again, are always so much more fun with someone else. All right, from the yoga tradition, the physical practice needs us to put mind on the body. And when we do not dissociate with areas that hold emotion or tension that we tend to just park in the back of our head. It is an easy way to live with tension in your body. Yoga brings your mind to the entire landscape of your body. And it is important because we say that what you cannot feel, you cannot heal. So our volunteers, and especially our teachers, receive training that this is a trauma-informed practice. And so the body is the first layer of how do we take care of ourselves. And this is what we all connect to. Oh, my neck is tired. I've been looking at this computer all day. Or my back hurts. This is the way I've been sitting all day. And if we really listen to our body, and we will understand what are the needs. But in yoga philosophy, there are 5 layers. The second layer is the energy layer. And yoga is a practice of yoking mind, body, and spirit. what we want to make sure that people don't misunderstand is that this is not a practice where we impose any kind of a faith practice. Sometimes that is a misunderstanding. So if you decide to turn your attention to the depth of how yoga can support your spiritual journey, it only strengthens you and your spiritual path. So it is just meant to guide what we practice together is relaxation, strengthening, and social ties. Every practice is unique because we try to engage 8 different teachers for our 8 different practices. Every practice is accessible. What we are choosing to practice makes everyone feel successful, right? They walk away empowered. They trust their body again. And if they have been coming to this community, migrating from different areas of the world where some part of their path has imposed stress and trauma, then what we get to do is erase a few layers of that. We do both active and restorative poses. You'd be surprised at releasing the anxiousness from your body and being able to lay down with different ways to have restorative poses, how your spine kind of lets go its tension holding patterns. Everybody has their own unique patterns of just holding tension in their body. And in this time of COVID, I think we've all become a little bit more connected to that, but we all walk around with a little bit of that. And so every practice is an opportunity to grow. That last sentence, right? We learn a little bit more about ourselves. And that is all that I am going to share from this PowerPoint. The rest is something I used to help train the trauma training for our volunteers. So everyone is required to go through that. It just means that we ensure that everybody comes with a little bit of understanding on how to treat our participants with the respect and with this open heart and open mind to giving space to what unfolds between us. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing. All right, and hope that you might feel inspired to share what we do and to help guide people in our direction. In the fall, it will be all the more important as we start that I'm going to be pulling at lots of strings saying, now that we're growing this, please send us people because I'm going to depend on gathering data in the fall for that 8-week session in that semester. And we're going to continue to go past that semester. We're just going to keep growing. So thank you for hearing all of that.
Thank you so much for that presentation. And this will also be going on our YouTube channel. So once that's on there, you can get the link and feel free to share that so we can get the information out a little bit faster. Christelle, did you have a question?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you already covered that at the very beginning, but as you were going through the presentation, what kept coming to mind is I really wanted to ask you what sparked your interest in yoga and how long have you been practicing it for?
Oh, what a great question. All right. I have been practicing and for about 30 years and teaching. And my master's degree is in exercise physiology with a special niche in special populations. And what that means is how do we use yoga therapeutically to not replace something like physical therapy, but how do we meet people where they are? And so when I first started working, I worked in a hospital and I was tasked with creating programs for high-risk special populations like high-risk pregnancy, people with severe osteoporosis, fibromyalgia. And I very quickly ran out of what my schooling prepared me with. And I found my answers in yoga. Yoga is more than a 5,000-year-old practice and has been used therapeutically for centuries. So I feel very confident in all of the training that has come from senior teachers that I just keep investing in and meeting people where they are. And that's exactly what we're doing in this program. We are meeting people where they are. So thank you for that question, Christelle.
Thank you so much. I really love your energy. There's something calming about you and the way that you speak.
Thank you. If you have time, come join us in this program. Let us meet you there.
Crystal is Lebanese, really fluttering with a Syrian, and this is for you guys. And Alex is learning Arabic. Don't say bad Arabic words in front of him, Mona. He understands Arabic. You see, Alex, the power of 3 Arabic women and on the call. We will make a coup to take power. Mona, it is always amazing, really, hearing you. Destiny, I will say, and ask for your pardon. I need to go pick up my kids, but I will see the recording. You look phenomenal. I will miss knowing you, but please tell them who you are, because I want to see the recording and know about you as a wonderful person. So you have to forgive me, Destiny. Promise me.
I promise. I already appreciate this space. I love it. I really do. I really.
We love having you. You are the best. So I have to run to pick up my kids.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Nagla. We'll see you. Thanks again, Mona. Oh, sorry, Destiny. I was going to give you a little introduction before you jump in. But thank you again, Mona, for your presentation and sharing that information with us. That was awesome. I'm going to remove you from the spotlight here. So Destiny reached out to us a couple of weeks ago wanting to share a really interesting program for graduate students. And she is the president of Chi Sigma Alpha Student Affairs Honor Society. Say that one quickly. So we're really happy to have her here today to share this information with us. And with that, Destiny, go ahead and take over.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for allowing me in the space. I am going to share my screen and then we can get started. And just let me know if you can see. Okay, perfect. So as Lexi so kindly introduced, I will be talking about UNCG, particularly the G.I.V.E initiative on behalf of the Sigma chapter of Chi Sigma Alpha, and it is an international honor society. And so I'm just going to do a quick introduction and then go over some short history so you can have some context, but then spend the majority of the time talking about this initiative that we hope comes into fruition. And then at the end, I will have some questions for you all, as well as opening the floor if you have any questions for me. So as I mentioned, I am Destiny Talley and I use she, her pronouns. I am a current 2nd year in the SAHI program here. So that's the Student Affairs Administration in Higher Education in the School of Ed. And I will be graduating this May. So exciting to be done. And I serve with 3 other people, Jason, Alex, and Bree. And so as you can see, we are a small organization, but we consider ourselves very, very, very mighty in our goal to impact campus, to be advocates for graduate students, particularly in student affairs, and to make sure that we can have an equitable impact in the greater Greensboro area. And so just for some context, Chi Sig, as I just like to call it to shorten it, because as we know, that was a long title. So I'll be referring to it as Chi Sig from now on. It was founded in the fall of 2001 at Virginia Tech. And then our chapter, the Sigma chapter, was founded on February 11th, 2015. And we actually just celebrated our first charter day on campus. So we were able to be in community with one another and just talk about how we hope to further impact in a positive manner UNCG in Greensboro as a whole. And one thing that I wanted to highlight for you all is our 3 values, which are academics, research, and service. And that will actually come into play when I talk about our particular initiative. So as you might have seen, UNCG G.I.V.E is actually an acronym, and it stands for Graduate Students Involved in Volunteer Experiences. And so basically, we all came together and really tried to reflect on UNCG's motto of find your way here. We recognize that this is a wonderful place to build community, particularly a culture of care on our campus that is different from other campuses around us. And we still think it would be an issue if we overlook the fact that there's 3,000 plus graduate students here, but not feel so connected to the university as to call it home. And so our goal with this program is to elevate that sense of belonging and community building for graduate students in particular through volunteer campus participation. So just some general research data points that we wanted to highlight for you all. This is a little bit outdated, but in the fall of 2020, we saw some demographic data that 20% of the total student population was made up of graduate students. And so that is a sizable amount, but there was no data talking about how students are feeling about their sense of belonging, particularly graduate students. And we felt like the Graduate Student Association in particular was a great avenue for us to talk more about graduate students' sense of belonging and the opportunity to elevate that further. And then we just did our own research to make sure that we grounded this initiative and found that there's ample evidence that showcases that community service is positively associated with the sense of belonging, particularly on campus. However, a lot of this research is referred to undergraduate students. And so we want to make sure that we can translate it and make it generalizable, but we recognize that some of the research is not necessarily related to graduate student population of which we're focused on. But what is for graduate students is this particular data point that we thought was super important, is that sense of belonging has found to impact retention and also people's desire to pursue faculty positions and further positional power in academia. So that all goes to say that we feel like this particular initiative will require us to have a further understanding of the general landscape of higher education and acknowledging that there are so many competing responsibilities that we have of graduate students that it might be difficult, particularly, I'm speaking for myself, but you all may also agree that it's difficult to maintain the same level of involvement as our undergraduate peers. And so being in the moment that we have to forego opportunities for that increased sense of belonging and professional and personal development, we feel like we want to make space so that we can fill that gap. And so the UNCG G.I.V.E initiative fits perfectly with our values of returning to research, academics, and highlighting service. And we also want to make sure that we tap into our responsibility to positively impact the institution in which we are affiliated, because we recognize that as an organization, we do take up space. And so we want to make sure we impact the university in as positively a manner as possible. And so I wanted to just bring this as a space for conversation of, do you feel like this is an initiative that graduate students would want to build community through volunteer participation, particularly for graduate students only? And what are your thoughts about making this a successful and beneficial experience? And so I'm going to stop sharing just so that we can have a conversation about your thoughts.
I can go first. I think it sounds like a really wonderful thing. So I am also a kinesiology student, but I specialize in community sport development. So most of my research is giving back to the community in some regard to physical activity and sports. And I would say that my rate limiting factor for almost all activities is time constraints, right? And so within that, I would just make sure that the opportunities would not have to be like a reoccurring like commitment, but rather like, oh, I can commit, this one activity, this one day, and then I can build community with my, with whoever's there, and that's great. And if I can keep coming back, that's awesome. But I don't want to have to like sign up to be like every Thursday at, like, yeah.
I have a question maybe before I give any comments. What would be like an example of the volunteer activity? Like, do you have a couple like top 5 things you would like to do?
Yeah, that definitely is a great question. So I don't know if any of you all have participated in the MLK Day of Service here at UNCG or saw the different volunteer experiences, but its connection with things like what is down the street? It escapes me now. Oh, the Spartan Open Pantry, and also connecting with schools, possibly doing backpacks, things like that. So there is no 100% established volunteer experiences because I'm going to be doing some kind of surveying of graduate students, and I would love to hear what types of service that you all would like. Mona, if you would like people to come out and volunteer for yoga, I can see if we can get that together, but just like ideas to make sure that we can have graduate students forming community together by making an impact on campus.
So Destiny, you are an amazing presenter. You do that very well. Can you hear me? Yes, you can hear me. Okay. So all of a sudden I can't hear, but I'm glad you can hear. So 20% of UNCG students are graduate students. How impressive to know that number. And so I think I would like to think that we for sure want to participate in ways to extend in volunteerism. So what you are going to present to all of us is just going to broaden our scope of what that can be. So kudos to you that you're going to do that. And I think that is really because we all have gifts, right? That's what we recognize in each other. We all have strengths and we all have gifts. And so if you need help brainstorming, I do think that starting with asking what are the kinds of activities that people are interested in, and that would guide whether they are activities that work with children, with certain age groups, with certain close to the school organizations. There is a wide array of how you can put that out there to begin directing what you can find, because as soon as you do that, you'll have a lot of people wanting to bend your ear about, hey, we could use some help here. So start with different age groups. And then I think how we as students can help what then establishes education. Like we're in higher education, and how do we support education, the K through 12 kind of education? There's always that need. And especially now during the times of COVID, there is, like the need for tutors, how kids are not understanding. And especially when it is in a population, there's a great percentage of the population where the parents don't know enough technology wise to help their kids even get online and understand just how they're supposed to do their homework. And to have a student that has great tech skills be able to offer that kind of guidance is a relief for parents and for students. There's so many ways that you're going to shine, but we'll keep paying attention and trying to help grow that with you. Great presentation.
Thank you so much, Mona. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play off of what Mona just said a little bit, which, by the way, Mona, you are also a very great presentation or presenter. So both of you did really awesome. Destiny, I am kind of seeing this as a really great opportunity to gather volunteer options for graduate students, not even that you would need to create the volunteer event. It's almost like for Mona's organization, she already needs volunteers, right? So I feel like if this information is shared across campus and like, hey, organizations, do you need volunteers? Yes, add your information to this list. You could even have a website of just constant running volunteer opportunities that people, and you could figure out how to get them to sign up for that. But yeah, I don't think you would need to reinvent the wheel here. I think there's a lot of people looking for people to volunteer, and that's for GSA too. I need volunteers to help pass out swag sometimes. I've volunteered at the Spartan Open Pantry myself with a couple of other graduate students. Andrew over there is really awesome. I know that they basically always need help. And specific graduate student initiatives could be done at Spartan Open Pantry, where graduate students are leading that. So I definitely think you're onto something here, and I love the community aspect. And this is definitely something that I would love to see GSA promote constantly for you. And if you can come to GSA meetings regularly and kind of share that information with the collective group, and then we can just kind of shuffle people towards you. If they're like, hey, I want a community or I want to volunteer, just send them right your way.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone. These ideas were wonderful. We are hoping to do kind of like a kickoff group type of event in April. And so very similarly to MLK Day, where graduate students could come out, do an event. And then I love you all's idea of having a constant circulation of volunteer events that can just be sent out to graduate students and they form their communities on their own. And so that will be amazing. So I really appreciate this. And all of your feedback was amazing. I will definitely keep you all in the loop. And that's all I have for today.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much. I said this before I started the recording, so I want to say it one more time here. We have our elections open, are in our nomination period until next Thursday. So specifically, Destiny, you were talking about your group, and I was just thinking, oh man, if this could be perfectly partnered with GSA, and that could easily be done as someone from your organization. I know you're graduating, but if someone else wanted to run for e-board, that could be a very easy kind of partnership there. So just keep that in mind. If anyone on this call is interested in running, or if you want to nominate someone else, all you have to do is email me. You can find all of the information on our website. We want as many nominations as possible, and really hoping to have a really strong e-board again next semester and next year. Okay, with that, does anyone else have any other questions or comments before I stop the recording?